Hello, everybody. We are live again. My name is Dvorak, aka Storyteller CZ. This is This Week in Meteor, aka Meteor Dispatches, episode 94. You can see my setup is a bit different today, the camera, all that stuff. That's because my internet is going a bit crazy, so I have to go on backup. But with all these backups and fallbacks, we are kind of falling back today, trying to look at the AI hype and if we might not have unintentionally helped it. Then we'll look at some release discussion and release maybe if we are releasing maybe too much or maybe too little until we finally get to what's next for Meteor. And with me here today, I have two special guests. First of all, I have Nacho Connor from the Meteor core team. Hi, Nacho. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How is everyone doing?
And I have Italo as well. Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Excited for this live.
All right, let us switch to, let's try this view. AI hype, what's going on, who's done this, and all that stuff. So this kind of what brought this on was this article, how to avoid that your post about AI hypes helps the hype. Which kind of got me thinking, not just in case of our show, but in general everywhere else. If the way we speak about the AI, all that stuff, if you're not helping it, and it's there's some things that it's gonna highlight that we should not do or not forget. Otherwise, we are kind of helping the hype. And so the key thing is that we forget that it's a machine. That's kind of, I would say, a common issue for us humans because we like to, it's a motto for five, so we kind of put in human qualities onto animals, onto machines, and all that stuff. Another big thing, which is very common, is that saying it is inevitable. No matter what you do, it's going to happen. You need to adjust. Then we've seen kind of in a lot of the companies, mandating the use of AI, especially without really qualifying on how or why. Predict that. Next one is predicting that it saves time, which from my own personal testing is a mixed bag at best. And kind of what I've mentioned is that, with the saying it's inevitable, you'll stay behind. If you fall behind, you will not be able to make it in the marketplace if you do not start adopting this and joining in. So those are kind of the highlights, you could say, of the article. I highly recommend that you read it. But since I have here an outside perspective, Nacho, Italo, do you think that our show and how we've been covering the AI hype has been kind of helping the AI hype, with the language we use? And also kind of with that related is, what about your opinion about the AI hype and the way you have been approaching it? And also for the audience watching us, comments, have you been helping the AI hype or not? Start with Nacho.
Yeah, I think AI nowadays is something that we cannot avoid, in the sense that I think it hits really well into what productivity is. I think in fact in Meteor Core, we are using it in a commonly basis to understand, to have a second opinion about it. It's not a human, of course, but it can be like a consultant session that sometimes gives you specifically on the key parts that you need to, you cannot be replaced, but you have some input that is going to be used to advance your work. And I think this cannot be avoided if we want to keep productive. And in my case, I'm using it. I'm using more privately. I'm not writing about AI and things like that, as the post is saying. I'm just getting my individual perspective by using it each day and get the best out of it.
Yeah, and well, I see the AI hype beyond it's for me it's beyond than just a hype because different from another hypes, for example, um crypto coins or well uh hypes that we talk so much about but we don't use in the day to day. Well, for sure, it's things that is hype things. Everybody's talking about it, but it's not a reality in your day to day. But AI is different. AI is real in your day to day and is pretty useful for us developers, but for us um, persons like you know it a professional. So, well, I think talk about AI is a hype. So the people talk about it because it bring likes, it bring reposts, it bring numbers. But at the same time, we can't avoid it because it's a reality. So sometimes we just talk about it because it's really bring some productivity for us, some value for us. So I think it's going behind. It's we can't avoid to inflate this hype because, well, it's go beyond the hype. It's it's go to the reality, you know.
I think this is kind of interesting because the one thing that also the art kind of what the art you use the words exactly as the article says, saying it's inevitability, it's a reality, it's here, you have to do it. And this kind of also brings me something I will probably cover later on. There has been let me quickly grab my notes here. There has been a long interview, 6 hours, with David Heinemeier Hansen, who is the creator of Ruby on Rails. And he has also like an interesting point, maybe because of this hype, saying it's inevitable, you have to learn it, it has to come, that we might be losing competence for what we need today while we chase the future that might never come. And for me especially, it's been kind of interesting because I've been also looking back at my AI usage and trying to say, does it really fulfill the promise, making you more productive? And I would say not really. I would say actually in many cases it's slowing me down because I start relying on it too much. On other cases, yes, because it kind of gets me started on things that I was procrastinating on. And usually the code output is on the level of junior developer. But then again, then we kind of come, a lot of people say, it's inevitable. It's, in 6 months, it's just going to advance, too much. It's going to be unrecognizable. It's going to change everything. And it kind of also gets me thinking about how we had this, and I will come back to it. So I'll just really skim out about how we had in, around the time Meteor, came out, a lot of other frameworks started coming out, and it was, this constant push. You should, go learn the new framework, and in 3 months, you have to rewrite everything in the new framework. So we've kind of been going through this, and I'm kind of worried that the way we speak about it is only hyping it up, which also the language that you guys use was in that matter. And this also kind of brings me back to MeteorJS as well, because there has been so many advancements and changes, but at the same time, the code we have, I have been writing the last 5 years for Meteor has not really changed. Only, stylistically with my improvements. But overall, there's, this really awesome backward compatibility, which it was one of the things that keeps me with Meteor. And yeah, that's and again, we have here now the hype, quickly jump on the new bandwagon at the language we have. And I think, and kind of to, before I just let you answer, sorry about that, is there's kind of this AI and the large language models, LLMs, they kind of get bunched together. And with AI, we have this, could say, C-3PO from Star Wars, or like, robots who can, speak like humans, and, androids do human stuff. And we kind of looking what's now called today is the artificial intelligence. So in a way, it's say marketing. Would that be proper to say, or am I completely out of my field?
Yeah, you talk about an interesting thing that is it's super productive to use AI, but sometimes don't. I will share a link here in the private chat if you can share with the community. So
Yep.
basically, this article talks about how the AI is slowing down the developers, and I think the point is okay. It's a hype. It's going behind. It's going beyond a hype because it's reality. But at the same time, we are learning how to use it. So, well, it's still uh, it's it's a reality that AI help us, but at some time, it have the illusion part from the hype things. So yeah, for sure, it's a thing that we must to know how to use. I think AI is a tool that came to well, that came to stay forever. But for sure, we still don't know how to use it in the better way.
I
Or
think
is it?
about that.
Go ahead,
I
Nacho,
think,
sorry.
yeah, I think about that, and maybe the point is how we use AI, what is our relationship with AI, if we can think about one. Because if the relationship is hype driven, for saying in one way, we will be always feeling the pressure that we need to use new tools, that we need to use or force us to use specific ways to achieve some results that are in the environment ecosystem of professionals and things like that. And if we feel the pressure, as in any job has happened over the time in our professions, we won't give good results. We will be just going to a trend or something without a clear goal of what we want to achieve. So I think the AI usage is more about what you need in the moment that you need it. For me, is like sometimes maybe I want to improve my English skills, for instance. I can ask the AI specifically on something that I want to improve, or in a specific part of the code. I'm not going to ask the AI in this vibe way to, oh, give me this app implemented or something implemented. No, maybe I need it on specific parts of a development that will unblock me to advance, or it will foster my productivity. Because sometimes, for instance, I'm not a designer, but many times I have had some questions that I would have asked to a designer on my team, and I can delegate that job on the AI. I can just give some insights on how I could improve something I not get used to do that. But everything here is done by the necessity, not by the FOMO feeling that something that I need to have, already. So this will be at least another point I wanted to raise.
Yeah. We've discussed a lot of these, let's say, apologies, Moise, we discussed a lot of these statistics in the dispatches or dispatch 92, so 2 episodes back. So we go in a lot into it. For me, what I really take kind of from this article is to be more careful about my language or how I'm going to use it with LLMs and AI in general, which really was what this article highlighted for me, that the way we use language to talk about it might inevitably kind of set the mindset, and we might then lose all perspective about it. For example, my dad has this essay that he wrote and feared that AI is going to turn us off. So while at the same time, a Czech author that I have here in the background somewhere, he has wrote one of the many issues that he discussed or that he discussed in his book in regards to AI was that we really think about AI as humans, and AI, reasoning is just not that way, and AI is not going to shut us down or rebel or anything like that, because it doesn't have a reason to do so, which will depend. If we build, then the artificial intelligence in our image, then that's a different story. But let us jump ahead to something more, just say closer to MeteorJS and our home. There is a proposal in Node.js when it comes to releases about shifting the Node releases from got once a year a major release and shortening the LTS, which is a long-term support, to 12 months. What was the original proposal? Discussion further then went, okay, let's move it to 18 months. And this is a preview of how the future releases of Node could look like if this proposal is accepted in a similar form. So one of the big things is there is no longer, the odd and even releases. It's, all the major releases are, major, and you can deploy them without any problems. Now it would be that Node 25 would be kind of the experimental release, and then Node 26 would be more of the stable one, and so on. And the idea is that you'll add alpha and beta phases, and then you have 12 months of active development and support until it jumps into for this image 18 months of maintenance. The idea is to reduce the number of releases so that the core development team can focus more on other things, like actually delivering feature, and also kind of, in a way, you could say, to slow down and reduce the number of actively supported or developed releases. So I think it can be at one point in time, it can be like 3 or 4 releases that are currently active or supported. So they kind of want to reduce that because it takes a lot of time and effort to kind of support. Of course, the more versions you have, the more it takes to support that. So they want to reduce that, at least by one, so it's they can spend the resources elsewhere. Which brings me also to the question of with Meteor releases as well, there have been multiple times discussions started about providing the LTS releases and how long is going to be everything supported, how often is Meteor going to be released. So that's what's happening. Nacho, Italo, your thoughts on this, and also what do you think about having a LTS version of Meteor once we have Meteor 4 or something like that?
Well, it's complicated because from one side, having new versions, having faster releases we can have faster improvements, and well, today we have a race between Node, Bun, and Deno. So, well, they are trying to improve the Node.js ecosystem fast as possible. But on the other hand, well, and I love it. To be honest, I love it. But to be honest, on the other hand, we must update our software with these new features, with these new versions. We must paying attention about the latest LTS, since the maintainable time is shorter now. So, well, yeah, it's complicated. But my vote is going to have a longer release, longer time between the release, because, well, talking about Meteor itself and the Meteor community, we can provide a better ecosystem and more stable ecosystem, um, allowing the developers to focus more in the product itself than in the maintainability about framework deprecations or the node deprecation stuffs. It's a hard vote, but yeah, my vote goes for a longer release time.
Natural,
Yeah.
I want to jump in.
Yeah, I also agree on that, especially on Meteor, that we really need the framework to be modernized, and this requires time. This requires a span of time that needs to be longer. We cannot just deliver features also because of our capacity, but we cannot deliver features in many releases really frequent in that way. We need to span it more in time, because we need to actually put the efforts to deliver the new features and the modernization. So this is why also we have not even thought now about Meteor 4 in that sense, because we just wanted the Meteor 3 to be the modernized Meteor of version, and that any Meteor developer user can adopt. And for that, we need to include quite amount of things that, they are waiting. So I'm not thinking too much about the numbers of the versions and how it's going to behave, at least in the terms of Meteor. I'm just more thinking about what we are going to deliver, and about what Node is doing, making more space between us. I think according to the popularity that Node has as a tool, it makes really a lot of sense to have this kind of way to plan the releases. And this is just my quick opinion about it.
Yeah, one of the other things that Node.js has to think about is also the corporate world. And that's, for example, because originally the original proposal was like 12 months of active, 12 months of maintenance. And of course, then people came, you have to think about the corporate world. They are not going to like that. So they changed it from 12 months maintenance to 18 months maintenance, because that's what the corporate world is more, you could say, interested in. So that's like another thing. And one more thing that we also have to think about with MeteorJS is MongoDB, because that has its own release cycle as well, and that's also very much tied into MeteorJS. So that's and I do believe there is some deprecation coming out, but at the same time, one of the strengths of Meteor is the backward compatibility. And kind of with all of this, let me check if I have it on this, is that Ubuntu actually announced, because Node.js is end of life, they announced that they are going to be maintaining Node.js 18 and extends its support until May 2032 on Ubuntu, which, first of all, just sounds crazy that you are going to maintain Node 18 for another 7 years. That is just wow, just the idea of it seems pretty crazy. But at the same time, Meteor Software did something similar with Node. Was it Node 16 or 14? I think it was Node 14. That is Meteor 2.
Yeah,
So that's a thing. So, but there's kind of a limit of how much you can do this. But at the same time, again, kind of going what I mentioned, we've kind of got used to from like 2010 to 2020 of crazy amount of releases of new packages of new software, and I think this might be and correct me guys if you think differently, or if that's maybe just wishful thinking. This might be like an indicator that maybe we are finally slowing down, that we've kind of got to a point where, at least, for example, with Node.js, we are happy where it is, and there's like not this sprint to quickly get next, and we can kind of step back, relax, and focus on other areas. Am I dreaming, or what do you guys think on that?
Yeah, at least on the server side, nowadays in Meteor, we can relax after a lot of stress on the fibers migration. This happened and was painful that way, but we are free on that. But yeah, we have other pressures, as you mentioned it. We have MongoDB, which we are relying on that tool a lot. We have the change stream, actually. We want to replace it with Oblog because Oblog is officially deprecated. And we have other fronts that are open, and finally we can work on them. And yeah, and about having major versions, normally major versions come with breaking changes or a major overhaul or a way to market the tool in a different way. There are many reasons influencing going a major, like Meteor 4 or something like that. So definitely we can be up on that. And we have many things that we could think about in the future in those senses. So definitely this is a good input to have and be discussing here.
Yeah. Italo, anything else to add on this?
Oh yeah, same as Nacho. It's not a problem for Meteor itself. I think the problem is more for the who use the node itself, including the Meteor community.
Yeah. Jan has here an interesting idea that there should be like more focus on better building core, because there was recently another supply chain attack. I'll just put it up here. The is package hijack, expanding supply chain attack. So I think that might be also like another thing, that maybe we went too fast, that we broke too many things, and now we've kind of have to slow down, kind of strengthen our existing things, and also deal with all the technical debt that kind of came up and piled up. But we've kind of covered it a little bit more, especially when it comes to Meteor. Let's just continue quickly in the news. Very quickly, React compiler documentation has been added to the React webpage. If you don't know, React compiler is a Babel plugin that goes into your React code and optimizes it for performance to make sure that it kind of rewrites your use effects and other, say, function calls, all that stuff, to use all the other performance improvements that are already built in Meteor. So it kind of does that for you, so you don't have to worry that much about performance. It's currently in release candidate 2, and sadly only for Babel at this point, which will get into a bit of a problem with what you are Nacho doing with Meteor 3.3 and beyond. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's Recompiler. So if you're using React, I think this should be a required for production for you to have. And I've already mentioned this, but kind of before we really go into our MeteorJS news, Alim kind of sent me this, maybe to tease me or to kind of have hot takes. This is, as I mentioned, this is the interview with DHH, the creator of Ruby on Rails, and this link that you can follow goes to a clip where he talks about JavaScript frameworks. The title is, of course, a bit more sensational and grabby than what he really talks about. But I think he has a really good critique when it comes to the JavaScript ecosystem from 2010 to 2020, as we've talked about, where we've kind of went, there's been excessive framework churn and a lot of other issues, and kind of this constant hype of the next new things. And he has a bit of a lot of nostalgia for the 1990s, where like me, he started with PHP and it was super simple, just upload things to server. You don't have to worry about it just runs there. You don't have to have like complicated build pipelines or anything like that. And that's kind of something he kind of wants to kind of get this simplicity back to Rails as well. And this is going to probably rail Kelly. He criticizes heavily TypeScript because despite his criticism, JavaScript, the original, the flavor, without TypeScript or anything like that, JavaScript itself is the second most favorite language after Ruby. He likes, of course, the S6 improvements, but he thinks there's much more potential that it can develop, and he really dislikes TypeScript, especially, and it kind of goes back to his philosophy about how things should be, and most people really don't need TypeScript. That's for really big projects, and he dislikes especially kind of the how you have to kind of repeat yourself a lot there. So I highly recommend to check just this clip or the entire 6-hour interview, which I finished watching this morning. There's a lot of other topics discussed, but highly recommend it. And this kind of brings me, Nacho, Italo, what was, your 2010, 2020, time frame, when it comes to JavaScript framework? And I think kind of, since at least, for me and Nacho, since we kind of stuck with Meteor, we've kind of really, we suffered from the hype, but at the same time, we've kind of been lucky that we didn't, since we stuck with Meteor, that we didn't have the constantly changing frameworks.
Yeah, definitely. I think the 2012 stack for me was always, PHP, as you said, was one part of the server side. MSSQL, I remember, MSSQL kind of database. Then I moved with Meteor, and I bought the whole pack of it, and I specialized it for this until now. So this can work as well. And I remember Backbone.js and other kind of libraries at that time that were really popular those days. And many things has happened, but actually, even though we entered in Meteor like the hype, and I remember the first local meeting actually talking about Meteor, so you can think about how Meteor rich was those days, that even a local, not even a capital in Spain, it's not a capital, so a local talking about Meteor. Even though it was a hype, we built a community, and a lot of companies has been benefiting from this. So this can also happen, and it's great to see.
Yeah. Well, usually I started in the frameworks. It was Angular 1. So after that, many others frameworks. I saw many others frameworks being used in a massive way, and I think frameworks became economy today. Many well, 10 years ago, I think it still was focused on productivity and put the developers together to work in the same stack and the same language. I mean, when I mean about language, I'm talking about structure, about your project structure, not about the language itself. But yeah, today it became it became a economy. Many frameworks is building, for example, next with Vercel, you know. Well, so today we having a time more and more frameworks that is not focused on the productivity, but only in have a structure, a community, and provide something to sell on top of that. I see many frameworks focus on productivity. Well, Meteor itself, it's burned. It's born on top of this point, productivity, to put your product in production fast as possible. But we have many other frameworks today they are pretty similar between them, and well, they do just the basic. I mean, it's just to build the application itself, but not necessarily faster or not necessarily in a better way. But it's just to have a structured community and sell something on top of that.
Yeah. So watch the full interview, guys. If you are here, don't forget to like. It really helps us a lot. Today I am also doing something a bit different. I'm streaming on my personal Twitch and X. So if you are there, please find your way to the Meteor community channel. Let me actually put the YouTube where am I? YouTube link into the comments. Hopefully that will probably not on X, but at least on Twitch. So give us a like, and even if you're on the other platforms, still give us a like. It helps a lot to move this show forward. And without further ado, let us jump into the MeteorJS news. So we have three main topics to discuss here. First of all, there has been an announcement. You can probably see from my T-shirt a little bit. There's introduction for Galaxy community writers, and if you write an article and submit it into this program, it has to be an article about any of the related technologies that runs on Galaxy. So of course, MeteorJS, Node.js, Django, Adonis.js, MongoDB, and if it's good quality, it relates to the themes that they are looking for. You can get $60 per article. So if you want to give it a try, or if you're writing an article already about any of the topics they're looking for, submit it. Make some extra cash and get some more exposure to your article. So that's what's happening, and we'll probably have gaps at some later date as well to talk more about this. But I'm going to jump straight next to you, Nacho. And we have Meteor 3.3.1 release, Candidate 2 release. What's going on? What is the news? What's all the amazing things that you have been cooking?
Yeah, so we have released Meteor 3.3.1. 3.3.1 is coming from the 3.3 that we delivered, where we included our mother bundler, not the mother bundler, but the mother build stack. I like to mention it like this, because the mother bundler is something we are cooking for Meteor 3.4. So what we have been focusing 3.3.1 is just to catch up on many things around the Meteor tooling and the things that Meteor is also a lot of contributions that were waiting and things like that. So for instance, one of the things that we have done, and Italo can explain more about it, is that we have upgraded Mongo, at least for some of the latest driver versions, but we needed to do it in a specific way. And Italo can explain a little bit more about what we faced there.
Yeah. Basically, we have today until now we were supporting the Mongo 3.6, but after an upgrade, after a fix inside the Mongo, where possible was to paginate better the queries, we won't be able to support the 3.6 anymore. And well, but it's a problem for many developers that is still using the Mongo 3.6. So to solve it, we created a new packet. Well, Nacho created a new packet that is the Mongo legacy. So when you install it, you are able to use the Mongo 3.6. Else, by default, we try to use the latest MongoDB. And in the build moment, we try to connect in your Mongo to check what version you are using and decide between Mongo Legacy or to use the newest MongoDB. And here we would like to reinforce the developers to migrate for the newest Mongo, because well, we already are in the Mongo 8. So and it's sad to see many developers still using Mongo 3.6, because they have many performance issues, because it's many releases after the 3 version, and at some time they are vulnerable because 3.6 have a long list of CVAs, of public CVAs, where the attackers can be exploring their applications. I will push a list of my 5 most critical CVAs I found about Mongo 3.6. And well, you can start migrating for Mongo 4, but we recommend to migrate for Mongo 5 or 6, at least 6, because Mongo will deprecate the MongoDB 4, and if I'm not sure, the 5 too soon. So yeah, and another point, after all these points about security performance, is the change stream. That I think Jen have a slide about it, but we are preparing. We are cooking a new way to work with reactivity in the Meteor, and it's a thing that's only possible after the MongoDB 3.6. So if you weren't using, if you still using Mongo 3.6, you won't have the performance improvements that we will deliver in 3.5 maybe. So yeah, you have many things to gain upgrading your Mongo. So for sure, it won't be a time spent. It will be pretty beneficial for your software.
Yeah, definitely. So I think this is the way moving forward. We are always trying to find backwards compatibility for your setup, even if you are in an old setup, like with including NP and Mongo legacy. But the only way we can advance is if you move those into the future releases. So please do. Another part that we have also included in 3.3.1 is the Cordova upgrade. As it happens every year, Android forces us to have our applications for application submission on a specific minimum SDK. This year is the SDK 35, I think. And for that, the Cordova, which is the tool that supports our development of hybrid applications in Meteor, we need to upgrade it as well. The version now is Cordova 14. We have included it here in this release candidate. So I encourage everyone to please test this release, test that the Cordova, you can migrate your native application to the proper SDK. Everything is working for you. We have left in the message forum the link, the official link in how to make this migration in the Cordova sense. So please follow that. And about Meteor 2, because some people all asked about this as well, we are going to try. We are going to try to upgrade Cordova to 14 version, but we cannot guarantee because it's the same thing that happened with MongoDB. As time passes, if you are in a setup that is not up to date, you cannot get newest things that are being delivered in the new releases. And maybe this could happen in Cordova 14 because previous versions of Cordova are marked to work in Node 20 already or 22 already, things like that. So Meteor 2 is blocked in Node 14. So at some point, this is not going to work anymore. Not even a workaround, not even a trick or a backwards compatibility, workaround. So please migrate applications from Meteor 2 to Meteor 3. Do this effort. I think maybe you need to feel the pressure here, not in the AI, feel the pressure in migrating Meteor 2 to Meteor 3, even using AI to help you, because this is going to be a topic and a problem in the future, especially for native. But yeah, this is a good pattern to follow. Just keep updated. And then another thing that we have been covering in 3.3.1 is some regressions and fixing edge cases on the SWC integrations that we did in 3.3. So in 3.3, we have many betas, many SRC, many people, developers from the community help us to test this. And we deliver it in a stable way, but there were some specific setups that they have some troubles, and we have fixed them. And also a regression that we found related with the bundle size. So if you use SWC, the modern build stack, by enabling the option modern into your packaging, if you use that, possibly your client bundle has increased a little. The way to solve this is explained in the Meteor forums. It's just adding SWC helpers dependency that will ensure that when the transpiler is working, it's not going to add some helpers that needs per file transpiler. It's going to just add it once, the package itself. So it will reduce a lot the client bundle. Yeah, and apart from that, maybe getting back to the React compiler section that you mentioned and is related with SWC. Yes, it's true. SWC is catching up into supporting more of the things that Paddle is doing and is the purpose. And we are even in touch with the creator of SWC and the team around it. So we know actually in terms of the React compiler that they are working in a plugin for SWC, because currently I think it's limited in Babel. So the direction is going to go to that. Maybe there are some tricks actually to make it work, because at the end, when we are going to introduce RSpec, you can control the pipeline on how the different files are going to be treated. Maybe there is a way to get the benefits of SWC and then get the benefits of Babel, only Babel, for the React compiler applied afterwards. So maybe there are things that can be played, even though not getting the full benefits of performance. But yes, the good thing is the SWC is modern enough and is committed enough, the people around it, and it's being adopted in many other tools that are getting popular. So I think we are safe in the future. And yeah, I think Meteor 331 is all about that.
Yeah, I remember. I've just actually did it this morning before my internet decided to go crazy. That you can disable SWC, for example, for the React files, and have Babel go through it again. So if you need React compiler like I do for performance, you can disable SWC and have Babel take care of that.
Yeah, for the current modern setup, you can do that. You can disable that. You will still get a lot of gains because the Meteor packages are not writing in React JSX. So you get the benefits of performance, but also the compatibility that you need. There are options always. Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing about Cordova, or maybe two things about Cordova. I do recall there has been some talk about moving to Tauri or something, something like that. How is that progressing?
Yeah, I'm not sure if about Tauri, but this is because no decision has been made yet. But anyway, for instance, I have personal experience with Capacitor. I have built already a Meteor with Capacitor. And Capacitor is the more natural Cordova successor. Actually, you have retrocompatibility or backwards compatibility with the Cordova plugins that you possibly have used in your Meteor native app. So I think it's the more natural way to go in the future. And of course, it will be faster because I already have the experience and I could lead that project forward. So yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, definitely we need to do that movement there. Another modernization in that area is needed.
Yeah, and a while back I saw there has been also some attempt to, or not attempt, or experiment to kind of get the latest Cordova for Meteor 2 to kind of have Meteor 2.17 release. Any update on that, or is that going to happen? Or
yeah, I think we have released 2.16.1 version or something like that because we needed to do a patch from Cordova because these incompatibility issues I was mentioning before. As the tools are moving forward, even a patch update could introduce a breaking change on your Meteor 2 application. And this is what happened in Cordova for Meteor 2 apps. That is why we releases 2.16.1. And possibly for this update, we will need to create another patch. About introducing other things that are not urgent, I don't think we will do because we are really focused on the new and to modernize, and all our efforts are in this, like the kind of releases you have got from Meteor 3.3 and see your bundler going really fast. So this is the thing we want to deliver nowadays. And unless it's something that is critical and we can give it a chance, we are more into the new. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the new, Italo, you have been working on one of the things that has been discussed for years at this point, MongoDB change stream. So what's the status over there for that?
Yeah. Well, just giving a context for who don't know about this huge step. Basically, basically Meteor works well based on two strategies for reactivity. The first and basic one is the pooling, and the second one is uplog. So basically, a pooling is, well, it 1 second that it check for update in the database to trigger it for the client. And the uplog, uplog is a collection where you have all your chains, all your operations in your database, and then we get all when item is registered in this collection, basically we get it, we detect which operation it is, and send for the client. And well, now, but all these implementations have consume a specific resource, have your performance limits. It's good. It's being used for many years. But after Mongo 3.6, we have the change streams that basically is when you receive an item in you can watch your database or your collection for specific chains, and then when it happens, you just receive this event. So we can just trigger this event for the client. What's the benefits using change stream? Basically, performance and resource usage. We can have the current situation is 15% of performance in terms of time of the response time, and we have a decrease in the resource usage. So your infrastructure will be cheaper, basically, or you can do more with the same. So it's still in progress. It's already working, but the challenge we have now is we need to work on the ordered messages to deliver the real-time message in the right order that they arrived in the database, and fix a compatibility with uplog, because we want to do a transparent migration. So basically, you will set up a env or a config in your package JSON or nothing, and then you are using change stream, and you are having a better result and performance in your application. So yeah, it will be a huge delivery for us. And science change stream is a synchronous mechanism. It will enable us to, in the future, to work with another mechanism. There's a remote, working in a sync mechanism that is native from Node or things like this. So it will be pretty interesting.
Sounds cool. When can we expect to start, playing with this, and when can we gonna see the release for this?
Well, maybe 3.5 we'll have it. We will have a beta for to play.
Sounds cool. And a few questions towards the end. I think since I have you here, I have to use this opportunity to ask what's coming, next, except for change stream that we've covered. Those who watch GitHub repository can see that there is a milestone for MeteorJS 3.3.2 and of course 3.4. So what can we expect in these releases, and or maybe if there's except for change streams, anything else that you would like to kind of highlight that's being worked on?
Yeah. Okay, about 3.3.2 is like our way to maybe introduce more fixes if they arise about criticality delivered before, like SWC adoption. We are not planning to deliver something else. We are really headed into 3.4. This will be the message, even though we have the milestone there. It's just in case we need to introduce something early, because our focus is in the new, and the new, we can have some predictions on time, but we cannot be 100% sure, because we are like in a experimentation phase. Now it's not more about experimentation. This is the good news. Meteor 3.4 is going to deliver a new mother bundler integration with RSpec. And maybe 1 or 2 months ago, it was more in an experimentation phase, because we wanted to cover many use cases in the bundler to improve the developer experience, to not go backwards in terms of hot module reloaded and other things around. But we have had this time, while we were releasing 3.3.1, to experiment and to get out of it the shape of what is going to be the next release. And yeah, this is our next focus. Once we release the official 3.3.1, which is final, and we need your feedback, we are going to release the first beta of 3.4. And in that one, you will be able to start experimenting with faster bundler, production features, plugins on the community, and so on. And many things that the Meteor community has asked for long. Tree-shaking, there is one that from time to time is always on the forums related with the sports in packaging compatibility. Many packages in NPM context are using this feature, and that is blocking projects in Meteor to use those dependencies and updates. So this is going to be a way to unlock this possibility, and we are really excited to start grabbing the feedback that we need also to improve and to stabilize the approach, as we did with SWC, actually.
So things are going to start moving pretty fast.
Yeah, fast in many senses, So this is also in the developer experience is the main thing. We are focused on that, and yeah.
Sweet. Question is Node. Right now we are on Node 22. 3.3.1 brings the latest in Node 22. Are we going to see in MeteorJS 3.4 Node.js 24?
Yeah, as soon as it comes, LTS version, which I'm not sure, because I usually don't see the schedule. Maybe you know better than me. Is LTS already?
It will be probably this fall. It's not yet, but let me see if I can release this. So for Node 24, actually no, LTS or maintenance. They have like current, active, and maintenance, and that will be. Let me see that for. So that will be. Oh, it doesn't show here. What I'm looking at here right now, but it should be this fall. So October.
Yeah, I think it will be a good time to actually upgrade it. And the good thing about Node, except the thing that we suffered from fibers migration from 14 to the newer version, which was really breaking changes and a lot of nightmare there. But from the other versions, once we have the fibers and all the standardization around the JavaScript and how handle asynchronous behaviors, this has been really moving smoothly. It's a major version, but actually don't break anything on our end. Hopefully with 24 will happen the same, and we can include this fall actually if it's going to be the LTS.
Yeah, I've already submitted the pull request, so I have to guys push the buttons on your side to see if our test will pass with it or not.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, I'll leave you some time in the comments to ask any questions. In the meantime, let's see. I will ask you guys to hit the subscribe if you like what we are doing, please subscribe to us so you can get informed about all the other future releases or of our next episodes and so on. So hit the subscribe, and I think since we are back on over here, I should be able to. Yes, I can push this nice little thing so it will be around here. So Italo, you're a bit hidden there, but we'll move that. We are going to reminders. Hi guys, Impact is coming in September. So that will be around Meteor 3.4 or maybe 3.5 already. So looking forward to kind of see, Italo and Nacho, what your talks will be about for September for Meteor Impact. So don't forget to sign up, send your talks. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either on Discord or via email. All the information on the website. And Nacho, since you've been around for a while, you actually work on Pathable, which was what Impact used to run on. Gonna now trip down the memory lane. What was your favorite moment or favorite memory of Impact?
Yeah, those days with Pathable was really intensive on my side. And yeah, I remember because those days we were, all the Meteor community in general, we were with some, uncertainties, I would say, or what was going to come, because we needed and we have some technical depth with the fiber thing. And I remember in Meteor Impact, I think Radek and Southern, I think as well, they covered it, or they give us the hope that we needed in terms of the migration and what's going to happen behind the scenes, what was the fiber problem, what was the solution, and to understand it better. In my case, in that time, I was not understanding it as today. So I remember those talks were really determinant for me to understand the challenges that Meteor was going to go through those days until now. And yeah, I hope this time Meteor Impact has more optimistic way to see the future. And as you said, in September, we will likely have Meteor 3.4. And if that is the case, that is why I have not submitted anything, because I'm not sure about what my focus is on the AirSpec thing. And I think it will be a really good candidate to promote in that sense, to say people call to action to say, okay, let's migrate into Meteor AirSpec. Let's adopt also the modern build stack in general. This is going to be the benefits that you are going to get here, here, and here. So during this month until September, as we are going to make betas about AirSpec, and I will be creating posts of the benefits and productivity and things that we are going to unlock. This will be more or less, I think, what I'm going to plan to say there. So yeah, really exciting.
All right, so you heard it from the man himself. That's what's coming for Impact, and I'll definitely make sure that you have a spot left so you can last minute add your talk. And with that, let us do a last check on the presentation. If there's anything else I'm missing, no, that is the last slide. That is it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Nacho, Italo, where can people find you?
Well, I'm in the Twitter, so let me post it here. So it's basically TWIM is my nickname for everything. But the JS is not about JavaScript. The JS is about Jose. I just born for the JavaScript. My mom decided you will work with JavaScript. But yeah, you can find me there.
Yeah, I have mine, I think, there. It's right. Nacho Coronel.
The other one.
or the
other
reverse.
side.
I don't know. And yeah, you can find me there. And actually, a fun fact is that I am also Jose, so I can be MeteorJS if I want to as well. So we can share that name and that end as well.
All right, and you can find me as a storyteller CZ on GitHub, X, and most of the other social networks. This has been Dispatch 94 in this week in MeteorJS. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will see you next week. Have a nice Friday and a weekend.